Hello, I am Brian, and I am the Theoretical Gamer. I'm going to talk about the what a lot of people, a lot of improvers who play role playing refer to as the never say no style of game mastering. Now, a lot of you have already heard about it, have already known about it, so you don't have to listen to me if you don't want to, or you can, you know, it's a it's a method of approaching game mastery. Now, first off, this is really kind of a primer for people who have never heard of it before. Now, and I think it's an interesting way to approach it. Now, I'm going to kind of do this in my normal meandering roundabout way, and I'm going to start off by explaining what is a role-playing game. This is something that it always comes up, and people always write down, and usually if someone asks you, but what is a role-playing game? And you usually sit down and you try to give an example of play, because it really is hard to explain to people who haven't actually done it. And here's the best description, the best definition of a role-playing game that I have ever heard. It is a game in which the player, his character, can essentially attempt anything. And that to me is almost I read that on a blog, and it was the best definition I've ever heard. Because, okay, let's say technically if you're playing Risk, there are rules. You have pieces and you have dice rolls, and technically you're playing the role of like countries going to war with each other, but you can't do peace talks. You can't send like spies over across the enemy lines to find out intel. You can't, you can do alliances, but that's really about it. That's really the only out of rules thing that you can really do. And you can plug a little role playing into any game. I remember playing Monopoly as a kid with my sister and my friends, and what I would do is I'd sit down and I'd wrap a sheet around me and I'd put a towel over my head and sunglasses and a headband, and I'd pretend that I was an Arab sheik. Like buying up all the properties. That was fun. But role-playing game is theoretically, you don't have a list of options that you are restricted to, and that's like the first stumbling block. A lot of people are like, oh wow, you mean I can try anything? Like telling a story? Wow. So that is the core, is that you can attempt anything. Now, there's a certain type of gamer, not really a type of gamer really, but a type of person that can crop up in any group of people, who I have heard referred to as a polarity responder. What is a polarity responder? A polarity responder is someone who his or her knee-jerk reaction to any statement made is that it is wrong, and here's why. Right? It's like you can't, if you can say anything and it'll be like, no, not necessarily. That's just their knee-jerk reaction. And it's like a critical or analytical mind taken too far, to an extreme. And if you're in a new group of people and you want to find the polarity responder of that group, or if there is one, here's a little test. It's the golden rule test. You basically, what you do is you just find a reason in conversation to casually drop the golden rule from the Bible. It's you know what they say. And you know what they say. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the polarity of the responder of the group, you'll see his eyes light up. He'll be like, he's been sitting on this for years. And he'll be like, no, not necessarily. I mean, what if you're a masochist? Do you go around hurting people just because you personally like to be hurt? And then he sits back smugly, knowing that he has proven himself to be smarter than God. And so it's like, yeah, that's the polarity responder. He just loves proving the last statement he heard to be wrong. You can't tell any jokes because he'll point out the logical flaws. You can't use any popular sayings because he'll eat that shit up. Like, oh yeah, no, that's wrong. Now, the proper response, of course, to this is a phrase, an acronym coined by the comic strip Dilbert creator Scott Adams. He came up with the phrase. I choose to pronounce this Bakteo, and of course it means, but of course there are obvious exceptions, and you just keep this nearby when you're talking to that person, and then just like, well, the early bird catches the worm, and just as he's about to launch into something about how bait shops often stay open late, and you can just go, Bakteo, and he will hate you forever because you have shut down his only method of communication. You don't want a polarity responder, because if you tell the polarity responder about the never say no method of GMing, he'll go, no, because he doesn't want a method, because no is all he has. So they should not be in role-playing at all, because role-playing is effectively one long brainstorming session where everyone's pitching ideas and coming up with concepts, and you don't want that one guy there stomping on everybody's energy, because you've heard stories about the game master who it's like okay, the army's attacking, and you come up with this plan, like, wait a minute, the bridge leading to town, is it made of wood? No, it's made of stone. He had no idea until you asked the question, but as soon as you asked if it was made of wood, he immediately went polarity on you and said, no, it's made of stone, and you say, oh, well, then my idea won't work. It would probably involve chopping up the bridge or setting it on fire or something like that. But no, he stepped on it before you even heard it. And I am sure that you met game masters who were very much like that. Now, how does the never say no thing work? Well, it's on the surface it sounds like a recipe for disaster. Like, well, then my character blows up the universe. You have to say yes because you said you'd never say no. Well, first of all, if you got that guy in your group, don't play with him. Okay, so, and I've heard a lot of, and this is the best, and I stole this from a game that I read, and it pretty much is the best way to implement never say no. Well, you're the game master, and someone comes up with an idea, says, okay, you're in a warehouse, and a fight breaks out, and the character says, is there a crowbar nearby? Well, okay, he probably is going to pick up a crowbar and brain someone with it. That's cool. Say yes. Yeah, there's a crowbar near here. He's adding to the story. He's being creative. He's being clever, right? The knee-jerk reaction is to say, no, there isn't. You may not be mean about it, but you may, in fact, see yourself as being logical. There probably isn't one. There may be one, but it's on the other side, the odds of it being right next to him are very, very small. So your instinct is to say, no, there probably isn't. You know what? Having a crowbar right next to him for him to pick up and use, yeah, that's cool. Let him do it. So reaction one is yes. Especially if you want to see what he's up to with it. And if it could happen, let it happen. Obviously there's limits to that Bakteo, but there's like, because if it's like, if you're in like a warehouse that's shipping paper, and he says, wait, is there a thermonuclear bomb in there? No, there isn't. Or instead of saying no, saying, why would you think there's a thermonuclear bomb in there? So you can sidestep actually saying the word no. You can like turn it into a question. Next response is if someone asks, can I do this? Like, can I leap from the ground to the top of the building? And you just say, how? That's response number 2, how? Or if he's like, say, like, can I defuse the bomb? How? With my bomb defusing skill. Okay, roll it. Then, but because if he doesn't have a bomb defusing skill, then he has to answer the question. Well, I dunk it in water. Okay, and all of a sudden, the knee-jerk reaction is he doesn't have a bomb defusing skill. The answer is no. If you ask how, you force him into a creative mode. Response 3. You can try. Can I jump from the bottom? Can I jump from here to the top of the building? 3 stories up? Yeah. Do you have any superhuman strength? No. You can try. Roll it. No, according to the rules, you jumped about 5 feet in the air and came back down. Oh. The answer 4 is the popular one, is the yes, but. Yes, but there's consequences. Yes, but there's complications. Yes, you can do it, but there's side effects that make things interesting. So you could say, yes, you see a crowbar, but it's about 50 feet away. You're going to have to make a mad dash to get it. Well, okay, if he wants that crowbar, all of a sudden, if he wants that weapon that he can use to brain his opponent, he has to get over to it, and he might have to get through someone to do it, or that other guy might get to it first. So, it doesn't automatically have to be yes to everything. You can make it interesting. It's like I dunk does dunking the bomb into the lake work? Well, yes, but it still goes off, but it doesn't kill anyone. It's like a huge explosion that sprays water over everything and attracts a lot of attention, and there can be minor side effects to that. Stuff like that. So it's basically it comes down to don't be an asshole. Don't stomp on your player's energy. Just because, even if a flat no would be the logical reaction, can you come up with another reaction that would cause things to be interesting? Just my random thoughts. Peace out.